You want to know how I got welcomed to this neighborhood? Let's just say it wasn't with a pie or a friendly handshake. No, the first words thrown my way were, I hope you're not planning on hosting any of your drug-fueled gang parties in this neighborhood. We worked hard to keep this area clean. That's it. That was my big welcome 3 hours after I moved in. Not even enough time to unpack my toothbrush, and already I was the local menace the outsider folks whispered about over hedges and through blinds. Picture this. I'm trying to back my dad's RV into my driveway, the engine humming, sun setting low over rows of identical houses. And there she is, a woman with a haircut you could set your watch to, and a look that could curdle milk arms crossed like she's bracing for a tornado. I'm the new sheriff, for crying out loud, but to her I'm just trouble on wheels. I cut the engine, let the silence stretch, tried to decide if I should just let her noise roll off my back or actually deal with it. But you know what? When you've sworn an oath to serve and protect even the folks who glare at you from perfectly mowed lawns, you can't just walk away. So I get out slow and easy, 6'3" and broad-shouldered, but doing my best not to scare anybody. I put on my friendliest smile and say, "Ma'am, only thing I'm planning on hosting in there is a fishing trip with my nephew." She just scoffs. A likely story. I've seen your type. You move in and the whole block goes to pot. Graffiti, sirens, loud music. I almost laughed, honestly I did. "Ma'am, with all due respect, I am the police." Left out the sheriff part for now. Let her chew on that. "Oh, a security guard," she shoots back. Even worse. And there in the bay window behind her, I spot a teenage kid, blonde, lanky, smirking like he's watching primetime TV. That's her pride and joy, I figure, the one she thinks I'm about to corrupt. From the look of him, he's doing a fine job getting there on his own. Now this RV, my RV, meant the world to me. Technically it was my dad's before he passed. We spent years fixing it up together. Every scratch and dent on that old aluminum body had a story. Yellowstone, a run-in with an oak tree when I was 17. Dad just laughed, called it character. It's more than a vehicle. It's a time capsule. And here was this woman looking at it like it was a rolling biohazard. I tried again to play nice, stuck out my hand. "I'm your new neighbor. Name's Jay." She stared at my hand like I'd offered her a dead rat. "I don't care what your name is. Just keep your activities to yourself." And with that she spun and stomped off, dragging her shadow of a son away from the window. I stood there a minute watching the sun slip behind the roofs, feeling my optimism drain away. So much for a quiet new start. Those first weeks were tense. I'd catch her watching through the curtains, her sprinkler accidentally dousing me as I washed my truck, her son skateboarding by muttering, "Nice ride, bro, bet it's fast." Sarcastic, spoiled, never told no. I let it go. I had more important things: learning the town, meeting my deputies, trying to build something real here. The RV sat in the drive, my own silent sentinel. One weekend I took it up to a lake, just me and the fish. Out there with loons calling and the motor humming, I could almost hear my dad's voice again. The night it happened, I'd pulled in late, exhausted, ready for bed. The Wanderer sat in the driveway right where it belonged. Next morning, coffee brewing, I glance outside and the driveway's empty. At first I tell myself I must have parked it somewhere else, but no. No broken glass, no struggle, just gone. It felt like a punch to the gut, losing that RV, not just a vehicle, my dad's legacy, my sanctuary stolen in the night. Cop mode kicked in. I called my lead detective, got the investigation rolling, sent out the bolo. My deputies canvassed the neighborhood. But folks here behind their fences and cameras, they sleep sound. No one saw a thing except Mrs. Gable at the cul-de-sac Insomniac, saw the RV rolling out at 2 a.m., followed by a blue hatchback. That detail stuck with me. The smirking kid drove a blue Civic. Circumstantial, sure, but my gut had a hunch. Hours passed, my nerves shot. Then a break, social media. One of our younger analysts finds an Instagram story. A video of the RV, clear as day, cruising a two-lane road shot by a giggling girl in the passenger seat. The driver grinning blonde Kyle, the neighbor's boy. Caption Lake Powell, here we come. He wasn't just a thief. He was showing off. We tracked them to a cove at Lake Powell, a notorious party spot. I coordinated with local deputies, rolled up in my uniform, no longer the new guy, just the law. Party lights flickered on my dad's RV, music bumping red cups everywhere. And there was Kyle leaning against the door as smug as ever. When he realized who I was, and more importantly, what I was, his confidence cracked and shattered. Cuffed read his rights and hauled off. His friends scattered like scared rabbits. But stepping inside that RV, it broke me. Beer, pizza, trash everywhere, graffiti on the table my dad and I sanded together, family photos tossed to the floor. It was like someone vandalized a piece of my soul. Cleaning it out later, every stain, every scar was a fresh wound. Back at the station as dawn broke, I was knee-deep in paperwork, determined to nail this case down tight. Then Hurricane Karen blew through the doors, furious, entitled, accusing me of targeting her son of being the real criminal. She hurled every insult, every dog whistle right there in front of my staff. They only made you sheriff as part of a diversity initiative, she snapped. The sheer arrogance and casual racism nearly knocked me over, but I kept my cool. Told her the facts, told her to get her son a good lawyer. He was going to need it. And boy did she. She brought in the big guns, a slick attorney from the city who tried to buy me off to frame it as a prank. When I wouldn't bite, he threatened to make the case a nightmare, motions, delays, smears in the press. And he did. Karen filed complaints, spun the story as racial profiling tried to turn the town against me. Suddenly, I'm not just the sheriff, I'm the villain in a rich family's drama, the whispers following me everywhere I go. They almost broke me. I won't lie. The worst part wasn't the legal circus or the endless paperwork. It was the way the community pulled back, the way people who'd waved before now looked through me. It was lonely. I felt like a ghost in my own town. But you know what? The truth has a way of surfacing. It started with a crack. One of the party kids, a quiet girl named Chloe, called me out of the blue. She was scared, said Karen's crew threatened her, and her mom bribed another girl with promises of a car to lie about drugs in my RV, all to derail the case. Chloe came in, told my detectives everything, witness tampering, perjury, the whole rotten scheme. Armed with her statement, we went on the attack. The DA called in Karen Kyle, and their lawyer laid out the evidence. You could watch the blood drain from their faces as the transcripts landed. Karen, for all her fire and bluster, folded in the end, turned on everyone to save herself, admitted to everything, implicated her lawyer, her own son, her friends. Kyle pled guilty. The judge sentenced him to time and juvenile restitution for the damage, years of probation. Karen's reputation crumbled, the queen bee dethroned, shunned by her own circle. The town came around. Apologies arrived in little ways, a gift card, a box of tomatoes from the neighbor, nods of respect where there'd been avoidance. The county dropped its investigation into me. And me, I finally got to work on the Wanderer. Sanded out the graffiti, reupholstered, rehung my family photos. Even got a new wooden duck for the dash, hand-carved by a deputy. Slowly, that RV, my sanctuary, felt like mine again. One autumn morning, I took it out to the mountains. The air smelled like pine, the last trace of bleach finally gone. I parked by the river where my dad and I used to fish, made a cup of coffee, and let the peace settle in. I thought about all that had happened, the prejudice, the lies, the battles fought in courtrooms and coffee shops, the lines that got drawn and redrawn. I realized I'd come through it scarred but stronger, just like the Wanderer. Justice had been served, but the scars stayed. Maybe they always do. So let me ask you, what would you have done in my shoes? Is justice just about punishment, or is it about truth? About fighting for what's right, even when it nearly breaks you? Drop your thoughts below. And if you've ever had to stand your ground against folks who'd rather rewrite the rules than play fair, I want to hear your story. Because out here on the open road, well, sometimes that's all you've got. The truth, the scars, and the journey ahead.